So, hello and welcome people back to Let's Play Hybrid Heaven.
You feel refreshed and revitalized, but you're still hungry.
You don't get to eat anything, you just use alien thingamajigs.
I only consume life energy.
I shall arrest you in the only way I know how. By wrestling. Now, as you can see, different enemy types will have actually significantly different weight animations and behavioral patterns. So like he will hang about right where you are and just step right and left.
Huh.
Which for the most part makes little difference. And here I wanted to demonstrate the counter, but they almost never work because you pretty much have to be psychic. I guess the stepping right and left could actually... I guess stepping right and left could actually like interfere with you trying to hit him with punches or kick. Yeah, but it doesn't really do him much good. What I was gonna say, I was trying to show off the counter, and after this point I kind of give up on it. And this is a grab. You do grabs by pressing the R button, and then you can do throws. And yes, you do get to
You just keep grabbing people over and over and just keep chucking.
Yes, however, as you can notice, it depletes the stamina meter. And also there is the problem that when you grab somebody, if they decide to do a move when you grab them, they can do it before you can do it. A lot of the times, which is why I usually don't do grabs, because also the same applies to you. The enemies will grab you a lot, and if they're slower than you and you keep jamming the button, you'll do it earlier than they do. And
Why
here
the fuck are there landmines here?
I told you that traps are just about the stupidest thing this game has. And the main problem with them is that they are barely visible because of the shit filter N64 has. Like, you can still get rid of them, but you can't actually get rid of them through the boxes. So this one, you pretty much have to get lucky or get hit by it. Thankfully, those don't actually like home in on you and like make a beeline for you as much. You have to be in their direct vicinity in order to do that, and hitting those is a little bit of a gamble. But you only need to get rid of one because that gives you enough of a enough space. This game does not have too much platforming in it. After this point, it's mostly basic stuff. Like the hardest it ever gets is right around this location, really. I do get rid of all of them because I can, but it has barely any point because. Yeah, they hardly ever drop anything. And even if they do, it's a scripted drop. Now here, you actually don't want to get rid of that block, you have to avoid getting rid of it. Because if you do, it will become impossible to actually reach that location. And puzzle elves, I don't believe they exist in this game. Like, if you get rid of something, it's gotten rid of forever.
Oh wow.
And here we have sort of a mascot of this game? Question mark? all of the enemies do actually have names, and I've seen them in the manual, which I don't actually own. But somebody uploaded a video on YouTube which contains the manual. Now I have died to this particular guy like 5 times. They will reappear like throughout the whole game a lot. And they have like weirdly powerful kicks, and as you can see, now that my arm is injured, I actually cannot perform any attacks with my right arm. You can inflict the same kind of injuries on the enemies, and it will actually show up in the bottom right corner. Now the special thing about this guy is that, as you saw, whenever he's knocked down, he will drop a restorative item. This stays true throughout the rest of the game, but it never... like, they do actually enhance them, but not significantly enough that you would really want to go out of your way to, like, you know, specifically... to specifically just, you know, throw him over and over to get them, especially since you don't really need that many healing items. By the way, and they can also use healing items. You can actually use special moves when the enemy is down on the ground. It's like a variation on the throws, but it instead is grabs. And they will actually vary depending on which side of the enemy you are standing. If you're standing in front of them, their back, or to their side. But yeah, the most effective ones are the ones that cause head injury, or how I like to call it, brain damage.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so.
It basically renders you incapable, or your enemy incapable of performing actions. And now I got an awesome. And yes, they can heal themselves quite a lot, but like not indefinitely. And as you can see, we can deal quite a lot of damage. They become much less of a trouble as we go on through the game, because eventually we pretty much gain the ability to do so much damage in one move. But yeah, you want to be careful. You want to be careful when it comes to like guarding and shit. Because if you are moving at the moment when the enemy is about to attack you, your guard will like almost 100% fail unless the enemy is really, really slow. And you can, like, running headlock, yes.
Ouch.
Yes, these animations are pretty great. I got an A. But yeah, this is...
You can't get S rank Nico.
Excuse me, you will see so many S ranks.
More like A ranks, am I right?
No, you will see S ranks, like a lot of them. And here is the status.
But a real player would S rank the entire game.
Sure, alright. But now we get to awkwardly pick up those things without actually using an action button of any sort, because this game's too good for that.
They figure if you want something, you'll just hump it a lot.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, early on, this, like these, it's a good thing to take advantage of whenever they actually do show up. And as you see, none of these things did respawn, because we technically didn't actually leave this room. It's a little bit weird and inconsistent. because if we actually were to leave through other doors, all of these enemies would actually come back. And we need to go down here, get rid of this thing because he will interrupt us. And I could try to jump over there, but I'm not that adventurous. There is fall damage.
Come on, live a little, Nico.
There is fall damage. And also I had to redo this little bit like 5 times already. Now I can't aim for it. Like the other time, I accidentally blew it up because I was, because I was trying to blow up the bombs, but.
So hey, can you open treasure chests while standing on them?
I tried, but you can't open treasure chests while standing on top of them.
Damn. You like that?
But you can't do that in Shining Wisdom.
Good to know.
You can fly right across the entire room and land on top of a treasure box, and you'll just keep jumping while opening it. Because you're so happy.
So what does one even use a life charger? Because like, from what I can tell, it's box full of green goop. You just like stuff it in your mouth and shoot it, or like.
It's just like a magical little thing. Just like a magical little
crack
thing.
It open and then like drink it, like it.
And here is an optional little thing that you can do. Not right there. There's literally nothing there. But I thought maybe I had to jump on top of the rail or something. This is the top of another room that we can enter. And I just whiffed that jump completely. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not retracting back through that through all of those other rooms. Just gonna proceed with the plot. Also, placement of this trap is completely ass.
Yeah.
Like, why? And it's like complete gamble whether or not you get hit or whether you get hit or not. Because like if you were in a safe zone right here, like when you enter, and it just like. Yeah, you know, wouldn't notice you until you moved, I would be fine with that. But yeah, here since I cleared that section and beat that thing, I went back to save because this was the 5th time I had to do this. I just kept getting very unlucky with getting knocked down and then pummeled to death by that bag monster.
You know, I think this is the first game I have seen that you actually see inside your freaking healing chamber.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I guess that it was just their way of showing off. Oh, our characters have faces.
You're right.
I mean, they also have cutscenes in this game, which are actually pretty nicely animated. Which actually like show off quite a lot of detail and expression on characters. Like not to an extraordinary degree, but considering how limited the N64 was in terms of memory, it's nice that there actually is they actually bother to do anything with that. Now stairs. Stairs are the worst. Don't use stairs.
Or you'll get blown up.
That's nice placement. Very nice. Always appreciate. Well, hello there. He's so happy to greet us.
fuck even are these creatures?
I don't know, I call this one Leech Face. But yeah, the general strategy I like to use is because like I said, the animation cycle sort of continues after you press the button. So the general strategy for like doing attacks, you want to get right up close to the enemy, because then their AI sort of has less of a chance to react, especially if you're trying to do kicks. And when it comes to guarding or like staying on guard, either do not move at all or move with jumps. Because like I said before, getting not moving at all will basically make it so that your animation when the enemy attacks does not have to cycle through anything, and you will just go right to the guard animation. However, if you're constantly jumping, the enemy will just not be able to hit you. Unless you're very unlucky, but in most cases they will not be able to hit you. Let's Lara Croft ourselves up this. Yeah, it's a good view. And of course, because there are these things, we have to destroy them. Because there may very well be something of interest to us.
I don't see anything.
Stamina charger. We are never gonna use those. Basically, those are useful if you do use grabs a lot. Grabs and throws. But otherwise, you really do not have much of a... like, you can't really waste stamina too hard. And battle chargers are actually combined, like life chargers and stamina chargers. Which is really surprising for such a great item to come in such an abundance as they come. I also never use any of these because I never run out of my health items. Also, sometimes I use step, but I'm generally generally I wouldn't advise that. I'm in the middle of like grabbing animation, so he is going to hit me no matter what. I do wish that if somebody were to take this concept to like some other game, that they would do something about, like, you know, the animation cycles. You know, so it's less about catching your opponent off guard at the moment they're actually doing something.
Right.
I mean, it's a good thing to use against the AI because they are like they are just about as powerful as you are, and they come in much greater numbers. By the way, while hopping around does seemingly waste up more of your active time meter, while it seemingly does use more of your active time meter, there is it actually doesn't waste any in the in like actuality, because what happens is it wastes a little bit, But then you stand for a moment, and standing is the fastest way to recover it. So in the end, you do actually recover over time. Like you
Just
do,
stand there.
you also recover while being in the middle of a jump. So you know. Well, it seems like it costs something, and it really doesn't. There is also the option to enable free run. Yes, this game has a free run. They figured it out. They figured it out 7 years before Abyss did.
Surprising.
Yeah, and it actually is running headlock. Yes.
Just
There are
that
far
fucking-
more brutal techniques. Oh, now
just
I
that
get to.
splat noise you hear on that. Oh my god, this game's the fucking dick stomp from Yakuza.
Yes. Oh, it gets more brutal. Like some of the things, some of the techniques you learn are just savage. It's
Yakuza
just a
totally
shame
ripped
that
off Hybrid Heaven.
they may have actually gotten like some inspiration. But they certainly Yakuza took it to a next level when it comes to just ridiculousness, and
Yeah.
like that's the idea. Sega should absolutely do a wrestling style, a wrestling RPG like this one, but hand it over to the Yakuza team.
Right.
Well, hello there, mincemeat. I mean, that's
Every
what it.
alien just wants to wrestle us.
I mean, like, have you seen Mr. Diaz?
I mean, everybody just wants to kill him for no reason.
Like that's the that's what they want you to believe, that they actually just want to touch him.
Gross.
Tackle. Not as impressive. But yeah, I was too slow with the on the trigger for a technique. It gets easier to actually perform the techniques once you get more bars than one. Because right now all of the techniques and all of the throws that we can do are really underwhelming because we are forced to use them on not full power. But yeah, in case you were wondering about what actually influences sidekick, yes, what actually influences how you what rank you get. It's actually how many moves the opponent does versus how many moves you do and how much damage you take. And also, I believe in less moves you finish them off, the more like the more score you get. And as per usual, we stare at a very shaky wall while renewing our passkey. And we get a defense enhancer. Now there are two items which have extremely similar names, which are the enhancers and razors. And the difference is enhancers are used during battle to gain a stat boost which lasts for that battle, and razors do permanent stat boosts. We are not going to be seeing many of those.